And we're not getting what humans always thought was key, the bone broth. 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 Well, now it's the next level of that. It's caveman. But hey, I need a glass of caveman. Caveman. Man, it's better than Ovaltine. Better than Ovaltine. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Caveman is just over the top. What in the world? But now with the milk, I was like, whoa, this has milk in it. Whoa. It tastes like good. Man, this tastes so good. Tastes like the best milkshake ever. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like Ovaltine. Like good. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like Ovaltine. It tastes like Ovaltine. Like good. Whoa. He trolled him. He baited him. He trolled him. He baited him. He trolled him. He baited him. I wish I was that smart. See, that's the Trump dimension. That's the Trump dimension. He trolled him. That's the Trump dimension. He baited. That's the Trump dimension. He trolled him. That's the Trump dimension. That's the Trump dimension. He trolled him. That's the Trump dimension. He baited. I wish I was that smart. See, that's the Trump dimension. It's Trump. The plan of Trump. And thus, by extension, Trump. Trump just trolled you. But that's okay. It's Trump. The plan of Trump. And thus, by extension, Trump.
And thus, by extension, Trump. The plan of Trump. I tell you what, man, the whole thing on this election was cool and whatnot, but it was to me, it was in a lot of ways, it was the same old. You know, they trotted out Juanita Broderick. They trotted out Bill Clinton's illegitimate half-black son. They trotted all these people out. You know, Roger Stone. He surfaced from the bowels of hell. Roger Stone joined us once again. And, you know, all these things started happening. And then you had Alex Jones, the one and only Alex Jones with InfoWar. The right-left paradigm, people. You got to listen to me. It don't matter which one's ruling. You got the right, you got the left. They're all the same. It's the right-left paradigm. He went from that to Heil. Do as Trump says. Be what Trump says you should be. Do what Trump says you should do. I am a robot for Trump. I will trot out Juanita Broderick and all of these puppets once again. You will love it as I bring Roger Stone onto the broadcast. I don't know. I mean, to me, right, it's so far beyond. And and you know, the cool thing about talking about Alex Jones as we cruise on into this, and it was brought to my attention pre-stream, and I see there's a whopping 2 people watching us right now, folks. For me, that's like, I don't even know what to say. I've never tried this before, so there may be no one here but us. In my heart, I really don't care, but it was pointed out to me before the broadcast started that I was a wee bit off my game, because I mean, I'm usually sleeping. I go to bed at, like, you know, 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm sawing logs. I get up early, you know, 5:30, 6 o'clock, I'm up. But I get a good night's sleep every night. I'm a farmer. So for me, this is something new. But it was so cool. And I know what says so cool, but Zero Cool's thinking, well, what would be so cool is if I would wrap up this intro and let these boys say hello. But tonight, I'm going to try something different. You know, I had the primer for the New World Order just the other day, and we will do that again probably next weekend. If not, a little sooner, on a day that I have a little free time. The winter's upon us, and all good farmers' work comes to an end, and that'll be me. So I'll be able to get into some more of the, you know, Blavatsky and, you know, all of that New World Order stuff with Morena Blavatsky. And I mean, you know, why can I only say Blavatsky? I don't know. Why can't I say Albert Pike? I don't know. You know, why can't I say Adam Weishaupt? I have no idea. Why couldn't I think of Manly P. Hall? I don't know. I don't know why I couldn't say those names right when I wanted to say them, but there they are now. Possibly I couldn't recall those names, gentlemen, because they just put a tower up down the road from me, and they said it was for cellular service. But is it possible, Mad Dodge Zero Cool? Is it possible that it was for mind control?
No, probably not. I mean, they did have MK Ultra, right, where they were putting acid in people's coffee, actual government officials and stuff. So I mean, conspiracies do exist, but I think it's just a cell phone tower, man.
Well, that's one person's opinion.
I'm pretty damn sure it's a cell phone tower. They've got better things to do than probe your mind, of all things, or mine.
Two men crying out in the darkness. I will say today, while I did my work, I listened to this guy. His last name is Canada. I'm not even going to look him up or endorse him by finding his name completely. But I listened for about 4 hours to this dude talk about how his neighbors in Colorado were mind controlled. So, and they turned against him. So he moved to New York, to Long Island. And then he lived in Long Island there by that, I can't even think of it now, the famous island where they had Typhoid Mary and whatnot. And that the harp was going on. He was pointing cameras at the sky. Look, I don't want to mock it, boys. I don't want to mock it, gentlemen. And look, if we're all going to we can all go on this, whatever. I will not. I will play devil's advocate tonight for sure. I definitely will. And that by saying that all of these things are possible. Okay. I am not going to sit here and tell you that I have migraines and whatever. I mean, like the things I heard today, I'm telling you, this person, in my humble estimation, was out of their bloody mind. But what do I really know? Let me just, okay. I think we all know who these two gentlemen are. So just to open up discussion, let me show you two gentlemen something, and maybe we'll go from there and see what we think then. Right, here we go. Just a little fuck around. Do the messer.
Now that you hate me, lessons in ignorance, they never made much sense to me. Now you can blame me at all. Everything is my fault.
I believe that one's fake. I mean, I'm not sure that last one was the real deal, but the first couple images that we saw there, and I've heard all kinds of things, explanations, but I just want to hear from Mad Dodger Zero. What's going on here? When we look up in the sky and we see it, it's videotaped. It's not a question of did this happen. There's no question of that. It has happened. I mean, what is this that people are seeing? Is this some kind of foreshadowing of Atlantis reborn?
I've seen this video actually, and I don't know. It could be a mirage, maybe. Kind of like in the desert where you see an oasis that's not really there. Or I guess it, like, if you're Christian, then you could think it's the kingdom of heaven showing itself. It could be a miracle ogre.
If that was,
you're jerking my chain. I'll let Zero pipe in before I do. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. If we're gonna go ahead the route of, and I'm not gonna stray off on this too much. If we were gonna go off on the route of Judaism in regards to religion, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse would have to be coming first, long before any human would be worthy enough to see the kingdom of heaven in regards to the God of Abraham. Okay, so that's the first thing to get out of the way. Secondly, this is bullshit. we live in an era where we have more than enough capability to use numerous amounts of technological everything and anything to make anything look real. The source material, because, oh, it's authentic source material. Bullshit. Anything can be manipulated through digital means these days. And China, besides India and the United Arab Emirates, those three places basically have more technology and they've more money than America has at this current point in time. So fuck you, China. You're full of shit. You're making people see shit. You're doing whatever. It's bullshit. I don't care if it's, yeah, because as we know, if it's on the internet, it must be true. And I've seen some weird fucking shit in my life. And I'm going to quote Jack Burton from the fucking Big Trouble in Little China. You'd have to be some kind of fool to think we're all alone in this universe. And I know that there's something out there. I don't know what it is, but I'd be a dumbass to think that we would be alone. But this video, bullshit. I'm calling it, because there's too many contradicting sources of images on that video alone that you showed us.
And I have another one. So bullshit in what way? I'm glad you just had a break there, because I was wanting to jump in and ask you, bullshit in what way? What are you calling bullshit on? That this is a mirage, possibly like Mad Dodge said? Or what do you describe the bullshit that you smell?
The bullshit that I'm smelling is the inconsistency in graphics, the inconsistency of source material. If one is analog and one is digital, the images don't match. And look at the angle of it right there. If you know anything about China, though,
this is a new one. This is a new one. If you want me to go back to the other one, I will.
Go back to the other one.
Okay, so let's go back to this one.
Ghost City, my ass.
Okay.
Ghost City, my ass. China, if anybody actually does their study on China and the major cities, they've got towers that put that kind of shit to shame. That angle is bullshit. That's what I'm calling. So you're
saying, what are you saying? What are you saying about this, Zero? What are we seeing here? Are we seeing what are we seeing here? Look at
the angle of the video. It's pointing up from what would be known as in the artist industry of the worm's eye view or the layman's eye view. It is angled upwards. If this was actually something authentic, it would be at base level. It would be basic level, you know, eye view level. It wouldn't be pointing the camera up. You would have some more reliable aerial photography. And it's just bullshit. This ain't fucking Star Wars, people.
So the bullshit that you're smelling is this is not real. Someone has photoshopped this. People did not see this in the sky.
No, like I said, if it's on YouTube, of course, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, it must be real. And Zhangzhou, China has fucking towers that pale a lot of American cities. So Chinese TV news reports have told how thousands of residents in 2 areas reported separately seeing it's bullshit. There is no confirmed source. That's very possible.
I'm not going to say one way or the other quite yet on even how I feel. I'll just say this is another piece of footage. And the thing that I had, if anything, it's that this is YouTube saying wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yes, but this is also, I mean, there are people have seen this happen. So I'm instead of just play I don't even know what the audio is here and who cares. It's just somebody saying local TV news, but you can see this is what they're broadcasting. And now, is this like definitive? I'm not even going to say yet. Like I said, Mad Dodge may have something to say about this. You may have something else to say about the Zero, but we do see, just to play play-by-play, what appears to be a toothy structure, a very dental structure here, something that seems to have form and shape where you wouldn't expect it outside of, oh, look at the bunny rabbit, look at the puppy dog in the clouds. We see something here that has very cubistic shape and a structure that
what's the audio quality? What's the video? Sorry, not the audio. What's the video quality of the video? Is it 240p, 144?
Does it's playing at 720?
720.
But it does. But it was taken. Obviously, you can see by the
Yeah.
up and down with the iPhone or something.
And
so it's-
yeah, and look at the inconsistency in the skyline. It's bullshit.
Oh,
I mean, the
yeah.
skyline
Now,
with the
if it-
buildings.
Look at the consistency of the skyline above the buildings as it veered from right to left. There was no consistency whatsoever to basically say, yes, this is a huge, massive structure, some kind of cloud city. You know, we also had the same issue back in the 1950s and late 40s in America, what turned out to be the SR-22 and the stealth bombers in the long run, which people thought was alien spacecraft bullshit.
Oh Lord,
And-
I'm not going
and-
to cut you off, but I can't believe you're tying those things because this is not a Blackbird or something. Sonic
No,
booming or-
I'm making the comparison of America went through this similar bullshit in the 40s and the 50s with saying, oh, this is alien technology here, this is alien technology there, and Project Blue Book has been out in the open for a good long time, basically saying this is what the United States was doing in the 40s and 50s, and which basically ends up being the SR-22 Blackbird as well as other stealth aircraft, which our military uses to this very day.
Wait a minute. Let me interject a little bit. Project Blue Book was ran by an absolute skeptic who wanted nothing to do with the very idea of UFOs.
Exactly.
Yeah, so should we give him the benefit of the doubt? I think not.
No.
Would he rather hide stuff? I think so.
Yes. And I'm going to play a little devil's advocate and say that I can't call bullshit in the same way you are. In fact, right now I'm going to withhold calling bullshit a zero. I'm going to go with I'm going to play off a little bit. I'm not saying that Mad Dodge was saying this. I'll let him expound if he wants, but all right, let me just put it this way. If I was an alien presence that was powerful and I was trying to make a statement, if I was some kind of super being and I was trying to get someone's attention, this may be what I would do. In fact, let me bring it back from that a little bit to make it a little bit more realistic. If I was a superpower as in a country that had a super projection device and I wanted to try it out on folks, why wouldn't I try it out on probably outside of North Korea, which we'd never get any feedback from? Why wouldn't I try it out on the most superstitious group of people that there are on the earth, i.e. the Chinese? And is this possibly, if it's not a super being from somewhere else trying to give us glimpses of what they intend to do one day, is this possibly a earthly power, an earthly entity that is projecting this, i.e. blue beam? I can lay it out a little bit longer, boys, but there you go. That was the end of mine.
I don't know about that. What I do notice that's kind of interesting, because it couldn't really be a refraction of light from the skyline below, because it actually looks more ancient, especially as you play the video. Like the towers don't look modern to me that are in the clouds. Or maybe it was a little bit earlier when they had more of a close-up to it. But it doesn't really look like the same skyline to me. It doesn't look like a reflection of one to the other, which is what I thought before when I saw this video. It's kind of
definitely
interesting.
not a reflection. I've heard it. This is the problem that I have with it, and maybe this will edge zero in here a little bit. Is that there have been explanations for this? They said, "Oh, this is the reflection of ships at sea." And when they're reflected, they start looking like they're stacked up like this. So the ships could be many miles away, but somehow or another, the reflection ends up looking stacked up like this. So these are actually cargo ships from sea. That's one of the explanations that I've heard.
That would make no sense whatsoever for cargo ships to be that big. And I put a thing in the side chat to one of many videos saying it's basically this is bullshit. It's a hoax. In fact, you can Google. There is the truth about the floating city over China. It is basically it's a hoax. But again, floating city over California, China, and the UK. This new image may help solve the mystery. It's bullshit. We have we have the technology to project images of various amounts and sizes against the skyline itself. Hell, if we were so bored, we could do the shit. We could basically have the bat symbol up in the air all the time, and anything coming from CNN, yeah, like that, whatever.
Yeah, but what I'm seeing here and what you sent me, they're not showing. They showed like a little bit right there of like the two juxtaposed, but they're not given a.
Again, we live in an era where we can project images into the skylight. We can actually we have technology to basically show a movie on a wall.
Oh yeah, now you're talking. Now you're into where I'm at. Now we're at on the same page, because I would say that is Project Bluebeam. I said it again.
Right.
What we're probably seeing is
that would make more sense than anything. And again, it's bullshit. And
well,
if anybody really wanted to freak fucking people out, they'd target North Korea just to fuck with them, since they're more xenophobic than fucking China is by a lot.
Well, Zero, I don't know if you've heard it, but many, many, many Americans and many, many, many Iraqis during a battle right before we took Baghdad say that they saw Muhammad and Jesus fighting in the clouds.
Right, and I'm fucking Batman.
Well, I'm just telling you, now there's two really strong schools of thought on this. One, that the United States sprayed hallucinogenic over everyone, hoping that they would hit the Iraqis, but it got some of the Americans too. And then Project Bluebeam.
That's actually not unrealistic.
No, and Project Bluebeam projected this.
I meant about the spraying stuff.
There's
about the spraying the hallucinogens. That's not unrealistic. That's
too many people seen the same thing. And I will say this for good hallucinogenics, which I'm sure the United States government has by now.
Oh yeah.
I've done peyote with an Indian gentleman and his wife and my girlfriend at the time years ago in a sweat lodge ceremony. We all saw things that weren't there, but we all saw the same thing. It was incredible. So it is possible that they all ingested but my idea isn't that. I think they were probably dosed with something and Project Bluebeam. It was probably as ambiguous as what we're seeing with these cities now. I don't think it was anything more descriptive than this, but they saw enough with the drugs, and I'll leave it at that for you boys to chew on.
Ogre, may I give one person the link to the Hangout? Cabbage.
Oh, it's Cabbage was yeah. Oh,
absolutely. We got to get him in here. He's always full of fun shit.
Awesome, and I'll do that here in a second. Have you guys heard about the prophecies of the Virgin Mary? She appeared to those children. And they had
the Virgin Mary. To me, this is like the Virgin Mary too. I gotta say, she appears in peanut butter sandwiches. But go ahead.
Well, no, the prophecies were actually taken by the Vatican and released one at a time. You guys, oh man, somebody in the chat. We have like 9 or 10 people in there because I'm keeping an eye on the chat. Someone tell me. You have to know what I'm talking about. These 3 little girls saw a vision of the Virgin Mary and had prophecies to come true, and so the Vatican actually took the prophecies and refused to release the last one on time. Like, somebody has to know what I'm talking about. But they saw the Virgin Mary in the sky, and it was something kind of like this cloud city. Now I'm gonna mute, and you guys
go in 10th grade, but she wasn't a Virgin Mary when we left. When I was seeing her leaving.
Well, I was raised Catholic, so I've heard this story. I just can't remember the name of the prophecy.
Catholics are the biggest daggone pagans on earth. They do the Om and all the ceremonies to all these pagan gods they call saints and whatnot. They're just a pagan Catholic church. They're not even Christian. They say they're Christian. That's bullshit. They're Mary. That's not Mary. That's what is that? Isis. What they call her most recently? It's the goddess of love. There, Jesus. That's Tammuz. That's not even anyway. Don't get me on that. Catholic Church is a farce, man. That's the beast of Revelation 12.
I couldn't trust the Catholic Church any farther than I could throw my car, which I can't throw my car.
No, because
Thank
if you had
you.
enough money, Zero, you could pay them and you could do any sin that you wanted with indulgence and still do it.
No, wait. The chat. Sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't cut you off on your channel, Ogre. I'm sorry.
No, go
Fatima.
on, man.
Fatima was the name of the prophecies. It was the Fatima prophecies. Yeah, you rescued me. I had to phone a friend and they came through.
What up, Cabbage? I see in
Hello,
the side
fuckers.
chat that you said that you were on some pain medications and a little wine. So I have no wine, but I'm going to light up my second doobie in a row. And
By the way, did you ever get the Chateau Neuf de Pape? I bet you didn't, did you? You lied.
No, I haven't had a drink in so long I can't even count anymore. No, I lost $150 deposit because the Bombardier, what was that called? I got the beer.
Bombardier. That's the one.
Yeah, I got a pallet of that, and then I refused it, so I had lost my deposit on that. No, I haven't. It's just I'm gonna try something, man. I'm getting old. I might have died from it, so I'm just gonna see.
You're dying
Next year
slowly
I'll probably
inside.
be a drunkard
We all
again.
know.
I'm gonna give it a year. I like to do things in 12-month periods.
No, I'm just
I'm
getting
gonna
a little
smoke
bit
this
of
pot.
a knee injury. Well, yeah, at least pot's, natural. It's herb. So what's the topic, by the way?
Bullshit.
UFOs.
That's the topic.
And we were actually
Cool.
just talking about the how they see cities in the sky and shit in China. Project
Cities in the
Bluebeam.
sky. Fuck me. Look, you know what this is? This is Project Bluebeam bullshit.
Yep, called it.
God. Yeah.
So that's
by the-
bullshit. There's no truth to it.
And by the way, Cabbage, you sound 1 billion times better than when we last tried to talk to you. It sounds like you got your computer up to speed or something.
Yeah, I've been having some issues, but trying to resolve them. But it's all good. Everybody happy.
Yeah, but so Project Bluebeam is just bullshit. Is that what you said? That's it. There's no truth to it. It can't be. I mean, what are they seeing in the sky when they see the cities there? Like what looks like buildings.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, but nobody's ever photographed one. Nobody's ever, shown anything.
Well, we're just showing. Yeah, look, there's photographs of them all over.
Yeah, because if it's on YouTube, it must be true.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of this comes from their.
It's called Photoshop, mate.
That's photoshopped.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
There were several of these where they shot this looking like they did one off of Miami.
You know how much energy,
I only got two.
You know how much energy it would take to you could power the whole of America for about fucking 50 years just to try and levitate something like that. If you could.
Well, no. What if it was just a projection?
No, it's a projection. That's easy. That's just fucking lasers. That's what I'm saying. It's Operation Bluebeam, right? That's what they're doing. They're playing it. The weird thing is, though, it's coming out of China. I thought the Americans might have done it.
Oh, the Chinese. That's what I was saying. The Chinese.
I mean, the Chinese are seeing fucking hovering.
Look at that, Cabbage. Look at that. Dude.
Shit about what?
And you know what? The Chinese are so superstitious. I think that's why they're doing it there. It's so they can, they're trying to get it.
No, but did you see that? That's what I was
talking
about. It looks ancient in that right there. Because look at the windows. It looks like castle windows on that.
Right.
That does not look like.
And not only that, don't think about it, right? I mean, think about this, right? That is not anything you would have ever seen in a Chinese, city. China didn't build things like that. That's straight out of Game of fucking Thrones.
Yeah, I just don't know what to think. I believe they're softening them up for something, man. And by them, I mean us. They're just starting it there. They're some kind of softening. I got some other stuff up here too. People see these. Watch this, Cabbage. This kind of blew me away. Is this Photoshop? Does anybody have any information on this? Watch this. See how
there's triangles.
Look at this.
It's triangles.
Did you see that? So you've seen that before, Cabbage. You said it before I shown it. So you've seen this. I mean, what is that? What is that?
Something. What? The triangle.
Yeah, is that bullshit? Did this happen?
It's Photoshop. Look how it unfolds. I mean, look.
That's a damn pyramid, not a triangle.
Yeah, right. Well,
It
I
looks like
tell
a
you what,
mountaintop.
have you ever seen? Well, it could be a mountain, it could be anything, right? I mean, it's just fucking nonsense, whatever it is. It's
So that's
certainly not a floating.
somebody saw this
it's not a
outside their window.
floating. No, exactly. Well, if there were, then there would people be having actual, you know, like you'd be seeing a lot of photos of it.
You'd think so.
Yeah, you don't. It's bullshit.
Because I would be taking a picture of that shit.
Exactly. Who wouldn't? All right, everyone.
be-
Hell, I'd go out and buy a fucking camera just to look, you know, just to take a picture of it.
Take a picture from the fucking stewardess.
Yes,
I'll give you $1,000 for that camera. I'll give you
I'll buy a throwaway.
anything for my life. I'll give you my first child and $1,000 for that throwaway camera. Because look at that fucking thing out the window. And this is what's getting me. So because this is this
No, you
misinformation.
see, the thing is, like, look at that, right? That level of that level of definition, right? If that was just a laser, you know, like projection or something, it would not have that level of definition. That's why it's total Photoshop. It's bullshit.
It looks so
MC, well, it's
one-dimensional,
MC. He needs to back me up.
Oh yeah, that looks Photoshop. Look at the white lines that you're hovering
Yeah,
over.
looks
Yeah,
very one-dimensional.
Yeah,
Horseshit. Absolute
That's-
horseshit.
the Cloud City was more believable. Than
Yes,
that.
that's what I'm wondering. I wonder if they put stuff, if people do stuff like that, and then they promote it so that when we see stuff like this, it looks like this looks like something. I don't think this
Trying
is
to dumb
Photoshop.
people down. Yeah, but no, it is. Of course, it's not floating in the air. That's fucking.
Well,
shit.
but Cabbage, they came out and they this is the problem that I have with this. I said it before, but you weren't on the stream yet. They came by they. I mean the United States. This happened over Lake Michigan, and this happened over China. Here, this happened like 4 or 5 places, and the governments at the various countries came out and said, "This is ships that are out at sea, and they're reflecting up into the sky, and then when they come back down to the stratosphere, they look stacked up like this." So they actually came and tried to give a reason for this. That's the reason I'm looking at this and going, why? I mean, what is this? What is it about?
Well, how can you raise a city? And don't forget that the city that they raise, what does it look like? It has absolutely no relationship to the country that it's meant to be about. It's
Well, no,
nonsense.
I'm with you, Cabbage.
Absolute
You
fucking
said it
nonsense.
would take such a ridiculous amount of energy to. I don't think it's a city up there. I think they're fucking projecting shit up there. I think they're
Well,
going
that's
to do like
Operation
they
Blue
did.
Beam, right?
Go ahead, or I'll continue. I think they're going to do like they did with in Desert Storm when they projected Allah and Jesus fighting in the clouds, and I think they're going to come down to some crazy fucking Baptists, like the motherfucking crazies out there with the Westboro Baptists, and there's lots of crazies, more than just them that open their mouths, and they're going to come up with some KKK, Black Lives Matter, KKK people, and they're going to have the fucking black man and white man fighting in the clouds.
Yeah, but it's bollocks. You know it's bollocks. Come on.
Well, we know
You
that.
do
But
know
how
it.
do you know the sheep will know that?
Oh no, exactly. No, they'll buy into it because I mean, most of these people have, you know, they've only just been introduced to an iPhone. You know, I mean, and certainly the majority of the people, of course, they'll buy this bullshit. Hell, you could sell this to people in trailer parks.
I got Zero telling me in the chat out there he thinks I'm on drugs. I am on drugs. I am smoking marijuana as we speak. I'm not even
He
hiding
makes
it.
his own. He's a home
Cabbage.
grower.
Cabbage, stop talking bad about people who live in trailer parks, man. Prick.
Hey, look,
Some of us are
I'm
poor.
not talking about all the people.
I own my single wide, you bastard.
They say
So what-
hashtag not all trailer park survivors, whatever. I don't know.
Oh, and
That's probably-
Ogre.
that one was probably sketchy with the freaking the pyramid, but I was looking at this, and I'm not saying this is any less sketchy, but you can see this right
Sketchy. Look,
here.
mate, if you imagine a building, any amount of, I mean, to raise one building off the ground, you know how much energy it takes. Look at how much it takes just to get a rocket off the earth.
Y'all
To
see
have
that
it
thing right there?
hovering,
See that right there?
yeah.
And I mean, I'm not. This could be Photoshop too, but I just wonder if maybe they're either soft. I don't know, man. All this stuff up in the
It's
sky.
just CGI shit. It's CGI shit, honestly. It's
Who's
nonsense.
spending all that money though to CGI this? I can see somebody
It
photoshopping
doesn't take a lot of money to CGI stuff. Man.
that when it's moving in and
really
out of the
doesn't.
clouds like that. I mean,
Oh
somebody,
no, yeah, but so in other words, I think that what Cabbage is saying CGI on the film, and me and Mad Dodge are thinking CGI up in the sky. Because I think this is happening in the sky. I mean, look at this thing in there up there. You know, there's like a dot. There's this thing up there.
Yeah, but you can see this in anyone who's done any, video graphics editing, I mean, proper CGI stuff. It's not that difficult now. If you get something
So
like
you don't think that that's
you
actually
could,
up in there, Cabbage? You don't think if
No,
you
of
and
course
I
it's not.
were looking at the clouds that we
No,
would
look.
see that?
I'm telling you now that you could create the same thing with ZBrush, right? Look up ZBrush and you'll see, right? You can
No,
get the
you're
software
telling
to
me,
do
but
that
you
kind
think
of
that this is
CGI
all
shit.
done after the fact. This is superimposed on the video.
No, there is no fact. They can't have after the fact because there is no fact.
Well, you can after the fact of photographing the fucking clouds, Cabbage is what I mean. Then they take that whole superimpose.
Okay, yeah. Superimposition.
Well,
It's actually it's cloud misappropriation.
no, Kevin, does that mean you don't believe that there is alien life at all? Anywhere?
No, I think there is alien life. I wouldn't be surprised if we find that this thing's living on Europa, or but they're not going to be exactly. That it's not going to be intelligent life forms that are traveling around and stuff. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's a question for you. Why is it that all of these aliens that are flying around apparently become totally fucking incompetent when they enter our planet, right? Our atmosphere. They're crashing here, there, and everywhere. They can,
well, I don't think they
can
are.
navigate the entire fucking universe, right? They can go from one part of the galaxy to the other. And then all of a sudden they forget how to fly their flying saucers. And they
Experimental vehicle.
Roswell.
It could be an experimental vehicle, like we have experimental pilots. They crash all the time. Test pilots, they're like one of the most high risk. It could be a lot of things. I mean, but the idea that because you just said yes.
No, come on, no.
You said yes. There's probably other life forms, but then you qualified that by saying you don't believe that there is intelligent life forms that could make contact with us. Is that?
Oh no, I think there are. I mean, definitely there's a possibility because obviously an infinite universe, infinite possibilities, right? I have no problem with there being aliens. I'd love to meet one. Hell, I'd go fucking joyriding with one. I wouldn't have a problem with it. I'm sure people who have religious, tendencies would have an issue with that, but that wouldn't bother me. But the idea that, I mean, like they haven't tested their equipment, like close to home in an environment that's similar to ours, so they make sure it doesn't fucking crash. I don't know. It just seems like it's pretty fucking incompetent.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I still go back to that they could be. It could be a lot of things, man. I mean, shit happens. There could be so many of them that have came here that out of the
that often. Come on. Not only that, they're not even competent enough to be able to clean up their own mess. Please.
I'll tell you this. I know a pilot that saw a UFO, a real UFO, and this is what happened. He's got a place out by Covelo, California. He got a little B-210 Cessna, and true story. It's true story. So he was up flying alone. He was about 100 miles out from where he took off. He was just out sightseeing, and he saw something on the horizon there, and it was like a silver. It was a UFO, man. It was a silver something floating there. And it was getting dark, and he just didn't know it. So he kept flying toward it and thinking, I got to see what this is. And as he got closer, it looked kind of like it was getting bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller. And the sun's going down. He wants to get back. He's not a good instrument flyer. Make a long story short, he did go see what it was. It was one of those Mylar balloons.
There you go. See?
And when you get up that high, sometimes things
your perspective is totally shot. Yeah, your perspective is shot.
Yeah. So I don't know what to say about these things myself. I have my own.
No, come on. Fucking cities floating around in the sky. Come on, it's fucking ridiculous.
No, that part now, Cabbage, I won't say is ridiculous because I do think that they are softening up a new kind of people Cabbage, that you and I couldn't even fucking move about with, mate. You know, we don't even understand the new minions they got coming out now. We don't even understand them. And I think they maybe soften them up to the point where they're going to try to project some shit in the sky and pass some shit off on them.
No, I believe that. I do. I think that that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Well, you can see these Chinese, they're freaking, ooh, look at that. Ooh.
Well, I have a practical question. What about the WOW signal, you guys? You've heard about that, right? SETI picked up a signal that they were...
Oh, you mean the woodpecker thing?
Picked up a signal that was pretty much a radio transmission from deep in space. And the guy, it's called the WOW symbol because he circled it and went wow next to it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but that turned out to be a pulsar.
Yeah, that was a long time ago too, and that turned out to be bollocks.
Yeah, it just turned out to be just a pulsar that was, you know, rotating at a particular, you know, consistent rate.
You know what? I got one thing to say. If we believe that there may be super intelligent beings out there somewhere, excuse me, I just took a big swat. But we believe that there may be super intelligent beings out there somewhere. Why on earth would we be sending them signals to say hello? We are a fucking weak, stupid race that don't even know how to get to you on a planet full of natural resources. Would you like to come and rape us in the
anus? But no, but that's the thing. You know, we are not. If you look at, say, the Oort cloud, or you look at the asteroid belt, in terms of resources, we're fuck all. If you want water, go to Neptune.
Yeah, but on the
get a shitload more water off Neptune. If these people are super advanced, then they can, you know, they could get the water off Neptune. Why would they have to come to Earth? They wouldn't need it.
But because on this planet they could actually work without having to be engulfed in anything. We know that any kind of life form that we know of needs oxygen. You know, and it needs this kind of environment that we're in. So, assumably, I mean, of course, like you said, it's an infinite universe. So I could just be talking crazy. Maybe there's other life forms
silicon-based? Yeah, silicon-based life forms.
Yeah, could be right. I've heard a lot about silicon. What do you know about that, Cabbage? I've heard a lot of buzz about silicon-based life forms lately.
Well, it's feasible because, you know, you can create neural connections, you know, using silicon and things. I mean, nobody really knows how they form, but you know, technically it's feasible. But at the end of the day, like I said, if they're coming across and they have all this super, you know, advanced technologies, they wouldn't need the Earth. They could just fucking reap everything they needed from the Oort cloud. They wouldn't even have to come inside, you know, inside the galaxy, you know, inside our solar system, particularly.
You said come inside our solar system.
Yeah, I know. I did.
Sorry.
The Cummins.
Crazy. Well, I don't know.
But, I mean, that's the whole point. You see, if you claim that these entities are so fucking advanced, number one, like I said, why are they fucking crashing all the time? Secondly, why is it that they really need us? Because there are plenty of more resources available in our solar system, on every other planet, on Mars.
Cabbage and I will obviously just take over. So this is for everybody. So we are just to believe that the multiplicity of people that have seen UFOs, seen gray aliens, have been abducted by grays. The amount of people that have seen lizard, reptilian aliens underground.
Vikings.
Are we supposed to believe that all of these people are just what? Are they lying? Or are they
fucking whack jobs? Most of them are part of a disinformation exercise. Absolutely. Yeah, it's been shown by the CIA. You know, massive disinformation exercise, and it was usually to hide the development of, you know, things like. Well, okay, I'll give you an example. When did people start seeing? Right, the original. UFOs were, you know, based on sci-fi. You know, they were basically like hubcaps, right? They were hubcaps. Then when did people start seeing triangular ones? It was at the very time that that Lockheed Martin were testing stealth bombers and the stealth fighters. That's when all of a sudden triangular things started happening. There was a real correlation.
So you're saying that they saw these test vehicles in the sky?
Yeah.
Well, what was hubcap shaped?
Well, the hubcap in actual, there was one that was tested. It was from it was in the 1950s where America created one, and it had a central fan, and it was being tested. Although I don't believe it ever actually got particularly far off the ground, but I'm sure they had other test vehicles that we don't know about.
I got a great channel for this because this is it. So no one else thinks that it's plausible or thinkable that there are gray aliens among us.
No, it's not fucking MIB.
What do you mean by among us?
This ain't fucking John Carpenter's They Live.
No, let's play devil's advocate. What do you mean by among us? Do you mean?
Well, I mean, in either you could look at it as among us, as in they are flying in the skies above us, which is among us in our planet, on our planet, in our atmosphere, or you could look at it as in some things I watched today. There's people that say they have had contact with these grays, these big-eyed traditional aliens that have abducted them and taken them up. Mad Dodge, that's what I mean.
Well, they're fucking bored, aren't they?
Yeah. They just want some attention.
Okay,
no, I mean, if I'm playing devil's advocate here, if these grays exist, how fucking bored are they to be screwing with us when we are consistently fighting amongst ourselves over limited resources and we have a violent, destructive nature? Basically, go against anything that's the unknown, and that will go out and kill it, as opposed to understanding it and studying it. This ain't fucking Star Trek, people.
How bored are we to mess with mice and rats? Zero cool. You see what I mean? In other words,
that's not.
That's
but
a serious argument.
Wait a minute. No. I'm giving this one to Ogre. That's a great argument.
It's a spurious argument because at the end of the day, these people apparently have already been fucking. I mean, what they need to keep coring out cattle's asses for this kind of thing.
That's been disproved.
Why are they harassing?
I know you're talking about the chupacabra. That's kind of been disproved. But
but all of these things have been disproved because reality.
But there's no one has ever definitively disproved this idea that there are.
You can't disprove a negative.
No. But you could show a lot of evidence that says it's not there. When we have,
they've been trying to do, and they've never shown it.
Do it this way: you have people that are out there right now that claim they've been abducted by aliens in Papua New Guinea. Yeah. I'm talking about cannibals.
Yeah.
Cannibals that would eat you if you were their enemy. They say, and they describe them the same way. How is it that someone in Papua New Guinea is being abducted? And thank you too, Mad Dodge, because I do think that was a pretty good argument to say that if they're up there, I mean, why wouldn't they want? Why were they so bored? Well, why not look at us? We're much more intelligent than a rat, I think, on our planet at least. To them, maybe they would. But so let's leave that off. But please think about it. While we say, why would they all describe them the same?
But the thing is, you're saying, well, why would they do that? They must have already, I mean, they already understand pretty much. I mean, if they're already so advanced, then they wouldn't need to test us. They already know the basic structures and premises.
We're so advanced, why would we need to test guinea pigs?
Well, no, and
we only got advanced by testing guinea pigs. We got advanced, sticking two pieces of, sort of striker together. Yeah, I mean, they are progress things. But once you've learned that and you have some comparative study to work with, you don't need to go back to fucking first principles when you go to a different location. Unless they are silicon-based and they don't understand what a carbon-based life form looks like.
Mad Dodge.
They'd have to be so radically different.
I have something here. All right, so nowadays we're even seeing it. People are moving away from physical labor and going more into computer, internet type jobs, and it keeps progressing. So if you advance to the point where you have, let's just call it warp speed, because I'm a Trekkie and fuck it, why not? So if you're doing that, then you advance so far that you probably have robots doing everything else for you. So you would lose muscle mass, and you would kind of turn into these grays, like, big eyes, so you could take in more information, a big brain to compute it. And then you see this primitive people that have muscle mass and actually do labor, and maybe you want to study them, because maybe you forgot.
Okay, well,
because you advanced so far to the point to where that is just so insignificant. It's like, who really cares?
MC, I'll give you a perfect example of why that sort of like argument is flawed. If you had so little muscle mass, you couldn't land on the Earth. I mean, you know how it affects even our own astronauts. The muscle mass and the bone density gets reduced if you're up there. What was it? The Russian who was up there for 70 years or something, like a year. He could barely stand up. So if these greys were based on the argument that you're giving, they would need an exoskeleton. They would need something to support them.
Well, that's possible that they had that, or maybe they have technology that allows them to experience gravity in a situation where there isn't gravity, or even technology that allows them to, in an environment that would have more or less gravity than they're used to, allow them to experience that same gravity that they're used to. I mean, I know that's
well, in that case, then why the fuck do they keep crashing their aircraft?
Well, I will say it again. There's the possibility that there are hundreds of thousands of them in the air right now, and that the idea that they crash one or two is like us crashing one plane in the entire history of aviation. So, and on top of that,
not though, is it? There was 3 in how many years when the crashes that were reported? There was like 3. I mean, it was a Roswell incident. Then there was
another
couple of them.
Maybe we're
apparently they can't even dodge missiles. I mean, that's how advanced they are. They can't even dodge our fucking 1960s
we're
missiles.
very advanced too, but we have heat seekers. We have all these things. I'm not saying that it's possible that they.
Yeah, but apparently they're meant to be able to. Can't they cloak? I mean, all I'm saying is I've heard they can cloak.
May have underestimated, but look. Here's another thing about the human experiments, Cabbage, and everyone else, is that when we think about it, maybe they are not hostile, and they want to see if maybe some of their cold viruses or something like that, and so they pick 1 or 2 human subjects to test these things on. I mean, there's so many possibilities. I would just say that the idea that there is absolutely no possibility that this is going on, that there are other worlds.
I'm not saying there's no possibility. I'm not saying there's no possibility.
I'm
saying that there is no evidence in real significant form. And you got Dr. Deagle and you got Bill Cooper. And you remember that guy who came out and actually admitted that it was all about disinformation? And like I said, watch the, I said this earlier on, check the Mirage Man. Where
Bill Cooper, the one that said he had his finger shot off? Is he the one that's missing a finger?
No, he's the guy who got shot in the back. But he was a sovereign citizen and things like that. He had his own radio show and everything.
But there was another guy that was affiliated with Bill Cooper. Now I know who you mean by him. They left him in the street out too in the heat. But there was another guy affiliated with him that said he was in an underground base, deep underground base.
Yeah, that's Dr. Deagle.
He got his finger shot off.
Total fucking whack job, that guy. Dr. Deagle.
Hey man, we're supposed to be entertaining the idea that this stuff could be possible tonight. But
but he was a fucking whack job. I'm serious. Just check out Dr. Deagle. I mean, the thing is, he is entertaining, so people should check it out.
Total whack
job. Worth a watch.
He's pulling out his 9mm, shooting at these aliens while they're going down the corridor, and they were firing back at him with charger beams or something. And I'm listening to him in awe, going, man, this guy, he's telling it so well, he must believe it's true.
No, yeah, but you can convince yourself of lots of things, can't you? Especially if it makes you money and you're getting lecture tours. And, you're getting paid to fucking repeat nonsense. That
was the most unbelievable thing to me, wasn't his story, was that there was like 400 people there listening to him and buying his books. That's what was amazing to me.
People want to believe bullshit, and hence the reason that Project Bluebeam, could be a success, because they can convince morons of anything.
Yeah,
project a few images on Skype.
I think that's the best as far as the cities in the sky, I believe that's the best explanation. Is that it is probably a government entity that is trying out technology. Because I mean, the cities there, some of them may be photoshopped, but the ones I pulled up today, I don't think were photoshopped. I think they were there invisible. I just think that they weren't.
There is no fucking city floating anywhere.
No, I don't think it was no city. I don't think there was any mass to them. I think that they were utilizing the clouds that were there to make it look darker in places with some kind of projection technology. I don't think that was any kind of mass. That's my opinion. Maybe it was a city in the sky.
Maybe it was just a big Zeppelin.
And maybe it was all Photoshop and bullshit.
Yeah,
that's a possibility too.
Well,
maybe it was supposed to be an advertisement. It was supposed to say "Eat at Joe's."
Now, see, that would be great. That would be awesome if it would say "Eat at Wang's." And
Eat at Wang's. Eat at Lo Hung's.
Wang's dim sum, the best.
Lo Hung Wang's dim sum, the best. But again, I'm going to revert back to my original statement. It wouldn't surprise me one damn bit if it was something that the government was working on for some kind of technology that will advance the human race. Much as, like I said, back in the 1940s and 50s, where everybody thought they were seeing shit, and turns out to be the SR-22 Blackbird and the stealth bombers that we had today that had been in progress for at least 30 years prior to the average person knowing that they were being built.
Yeah, well, MC and I were talking about the SR, Blackbird, sexiest thing that was ever created. I mean, look at that. At the time that thing got created, I mean, that really was comic book, right?
Oh, yeah.
It really was, in terms of design. Totally. So, it's no surprise that people get freaked out by stuff that that are in development. I mean, now the stealth bomber, a little stealth fighter. Like I said, triangular. The only time that the triangles started appearing was in 1980s, and that's when Lockheed was testing the stealth fighters. So
but they're retiring.
It all kind of ties together.
They're decommissioning the stealth fighter.
That's probably because they built something better off of it. That's why.
Well, it's because it was always a piece of shit. The pilot of that plane always said it doesn't do it. The only thing it does is fights radar a little bit. We can't get in dog fights. We can't bomb shit. That was a piece of shit plane.
Well, actually, it was only radar resistant if it wasn't raining. Because you remember the one that got shot down in Bosnia? I think
right. They said it was, yes.
Yeah, because of the rain.
They said Doppler picked it up because of the rain signature. Whatever. But to me, it was a piece of garbage. I hope that we would get back to meritocracy when it came to that kind of thing in our country. I don't know. I know that it makes me want to cry that in your country, Cabbage, it seems like they can't equip the new aircraft carrier, the Queen's aircraft carrier that was just commissioned, with the Queen's aircraft.
Yeah, you know why? Because we depended on America to supply us with a bullshit piece of equipment called the F-35.
I thought it was going to be some kind of European Union fighter you were supposed to be.
No. It wasn't a Euro. No, it was meant to be F-35s.
Oh, that's so stupid. You don't want that garbage.
No, we know that now.
It's terrible too. And it is, in fact, Britt and I were talking.
The thing is, though, we sold you the fucking Harrier. All we needed was a Harrier.
Well, you got the Harrier. Aren't you the land? If my history doesn't fail me, I think that you're the land that came up with the Spitfire and the Hurricane.
Yeah, the Hurricane, the Spitfire, and the Harrier. We created the Harrier, and then we sold it to America.
Build another aircraft if you wanted to in your country.
We could. We didn't have the fucking nous to do it. But no, what did we do? We believed that America was going to deliver on something, and it didn't. Well, what a surprise.
Whatever it would cost you from us, you could have built your own, probably just as good or better, and less money.
Yeah, and probably half the price. Look at poor old Canada. They had the same problem. They ordered a bunch of F-35s, and they arrived. The planes arrived, but they didn't have fucking engines.
All right, we're getting off topic. Is Satan controlling the world through the Illuminati?
Yes.
No, quit being fucking retarded.
I lost it for a second. I lost it there.
Yeah, you lost it because you're not used to being up this late and you're fucking stoned off your ass.
Well, what I was saying, yes, and that may be true. But what I was trying to say is there some kind of great cabal with, I mentioned some names before, just to wrap it up on this, because Cabbage wasn't here. With, I mean, you think about Manly P. Hall and
Talking about the Club
Albert
of Rome
Pike and Morena
Club of
Blavatsky and all these people that talk about this need for a one world government to bring about this, they call it the great promise of a technological advance that will make them immortal through their...
Is it any different than the singularity, the technological one? You know, like Ray Kurzweil.
Oh, yeah, Kurzweil, go ahead. Tell us about him. I know who you're talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it's the same thing, right? It's the great promise.
Well, he's transhumanist, if Kurzweil is.
Exactly. Yeah, you'll be able to upload yourself into a computer virtual reality and, basically Second Life. But functional.
But also that line of thought depends heavily on the idea of like mechanical hearts and replaceable parts that will allow certain parts of your humanity to continue. Transhumanism. How is that a possibility?
No.
The funny thing is that all of our leaders in the world, not all, a very large part of our leaders in the world, they believe in that stuff. They believe in that Albert Pike, the Illuminati, Luciferian doctrine of this great promise of a melding.
You're also fucking retarded.
Well, maybe, but why are they in so much power? Why are they the people that run the country then, Zero?
Okay, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this once and for all, and please nobody interrupt me.
Okay.
As so long as one single person resists an idea that everybody else in the world can bow down to and follow, the plan has failed, because to have total control means everybody has to bow down and fall in line. And when there's always at least one person with the opposition and possibility of forming a resistance, those ultimate powers do not have the ultimate power they think they have.
Okay. You can unpack that a little more if you want. Oh, he muted himself. That was it. So
well, I was waiting for Cabbage to jump in. He usually says something pretty good. It's very simple. It's like this. When back in the day, before the United States became the United States, when we were over in England or France, wherever, and there was the monarchy, they thought they controlled everything. Well, they didn't control everything, because they always had at least one person saying, I'm not doing this. Humanity has this basic natural spark of rebellion that if it doesn't serve our purpose to live or survive or to be who we need to be that we think we are, basically you could have everybody in America, in the world, they can say, oh, well, we've reached a new age of enlightenment, and you could have somebody like me saying, no, we haven't, we fucked up. Well, then we really haven't reached a new age of enlightenment now, have we? If you have a team, if you have 99 people out of 100 saying this is the way to go, this is a great idea, and you have the one person saying, no, this is a bad idea because reasons, and they give the reasons, and then the 99 people still go forward with it anyway, and it blows up in their face, you're still going to have that one person saying, see, I told you so. This was not a good idea. So ultimate control doesn't exist. It's a fatal illusion of humanity, because there will always be one group or one person saying, no, this is wrong. Therefore, ultimate and total control, no matter what the means, does not genuinely exist and can never genuinely exist. That because there will always be polar opposites. There will always be the north and the south. There will always be the positives and negatives in the magnetic fields, whatever you want to fucking say. As long as one person resists, there is no such thing as ultimate control. It will never work.
Yeah, unless you introduce the Ray Kurzweil thing, which is where you upload your brain into an algorithm, and the algorithm will dictate those terms.
I can still resist that. I can still refuse that.
Well, you wouldn't be able to if you were part of the algorithm. That's the whole point.
Well, that's my point. Nobody will be. You can't play devil's advocate on this, because it can never happen. People can do whatever the fuck they want. They can say, "Oh, this technology is going to do this, this, this." There's always going to be that one Luddite that says, "Nope."
No,
but
I want to go
if you
on. I
are,
want to do the brain upload thing. I want to do that. You know.
yeah, but the brain upload thing is basically just putting your, you know, that your the
No, with
system
the algorithm
will.
though.
It would
The
be
one that
purely
only
algorithm, and the
can-
algorithm can be whatever they program it to be. So therefore,
Yeah,
you
but
wouldn't be yourself, but you would be yourself, but lobotomized. If you imagine it like a lobotomized version of yourself, whereby you would comply, that would be part of the algorithm, which is the
And
that
that algorithm will fail because they're always going to piss on somebody enough to where a hacker's going to say, "Hey, guess what, bitches? I wrote a virus for this algorithm. Bye."
Well, fuck that. Then
Well,
I
yeah,
want the
that's-
General Grievous. I want the General Grievous deal, where I could,
Yeah, it's like Snow Crash, right?
you just
So
put my
it's-
brain in my lungs or something, maybe my heart, and something that'll last forever.
And see, I've even heard people say, "Oh, we're living in the Matrix." I said, "Really? We're living in the Matrix? Boy, they fucked that up, didn't they?"
No, we're not living in the Matrix. That's the Mandela effect that people are experiencing. We're living in the
If they
Matrix.
really think, if they think that that's the case, then there's some really well. It must have been written by some, you know, kids in India or something, because it's fucking buggy. It's buggy as fuck.
You know what's more
and
messed up?
that's-
That's more messed up than anything we've talked about tonight. Is the idea that we're living in the Matrix or the Mandela effect with like the many different universes all close to each other. I mean, that's about the most crazy shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, but that's exactly. I mean, it's this idea that there are meant to be 11 dimensions. Well, why stop at 11? I mean, it's like an arbitrary number.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
like
an
how many
arbitrary
genders.
That is an arbitrary number because if you think about it, if we have roughly 7.2 billion people on this planet, we all have the capability of turning left instead of right.
Could be
then there's an
7.2
infinite,
billion.
whatever. There's an infinite amount of universes because if everybody was to get up one day, walk out their door, and all turn left, well, there's always that one person that's going to turn right. There's an infinite amount of universes if we're really going to get into the metaphysics. Because there's no fucking way that there's no way that there can be a very limited amount of universes or their finite possibilities.
Well, but how many are you in?
No, this is the difference. It's because they're not talking about universes, they're talking about dimensions. When they say 11, there are 11 dimensions within quantum mechanics.
Oh. Well, if you're going to drop me off anywhere, drop me off in the 5th dimension. I'll be all right.
Well, so you say you would only be in one dimension at a time. So zero. But my question would be for anybody that would say anything like you just did, because of the right and left. I mean, the right left paradigm. I dig it. So how many dimensions are you in? How many could you be in, or how many have you been in? Only one linearly, or do they split off depending upon your choices?
We only see things in one dimension in linear. We are linear beings, no matter what anybody says. Okay. No, I was referring to an infinite number of.
No, we are linear in time, but we have 3 dimensions. But there's no reason there wouldn't be 4 dimensions, but still a linear time in a different dimension.
Yeah, Cabbage is right. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but finish that.
What I was referring to was infinite number of parallel universes.
Yeah, you're talking about the multiverse.
Right, we're talking about the multiverse. That does exist. I don't care what anybody says. Well, that doesn't exist. Bullshit. I could have. Okay, there's a universe out there that does exist that I don't live in. That if I do, I don't know that because I only know the one that I live in, where I married my second girlfriend. Or
so you are there. You're in that universe, though.
But I don't know it. But I'm not there. I'm there, but I'm not there. Okay. If anybody
how about this? How about this as an idea that, you know, aging process is those differences where your body splits between its different choices. And so that therefore, you know, that's the aging process.
No, he's got me thinking hardcore right now. So in other words,
so I love talking to my parents about this shit, and it drives my dad nuts because he's a Lee Marvin, John Wayne guy. And when I talk to him something about quantum mechanics, basically, you know, that's the great thing that comic books have done. They've opened people up to understand. That's what science fiction and comic books have done. They've made people think about the what ifs. It's kind of like, well, that's very simple. There is a universe out there. There is a universe out there. There is an Earth out there of the infinite numbers of Earth in the multiverse where I've never met you guys, where I'm not talking to you right now. I'm doing something else.
But at the same time, there's another universe where you are also talking exactly the same as you are now.
Right,
Yeah,
and there's
that's-
also where you're not in
Infinite,
the
if
conversation.
you're going to have infinite.
Well, this is what this.
Well,
is.
there's the scenario
which you
where
were wishing
Cabbage
for
is
right
not in
now.
the
I know that.
where Cabbage is not in this conversation, or where MC is in this conversation, or where Mad Dodge is not in this conversation, or you three are talking and I'm simply watching in the chat room. You know, so there is a infinite number of parallel Earths out there doing all this shit at the same time.
And that's heavy shit to me right there. It really
Well,
is. So
this is what you get when you're not on drugs.
Help me understand your way of thinking, though. So, in other words, where I'm at today, where I'm at right now, with everyone that I see and what's going on right now, the here that is for me is this, but there's another here that this morning I made a different choice. Instead of having eggs and toast, I had oatmeal, and so in that universe it went another way. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll break it down to. I'll break this down. Let me talk. I'll break this down very simply. Everything that happened to you today, Ogre. The only difference is on a parallel Earth, you did have a different breakfast, but you did everything else the same today.
So it's not my choices moment by moment that make these changes in these different universes. They just are happening.
Yes, but also, I mean, but they could be radically different too. And,
exactly.
Maybe you instead of you didn't even have any breakfast, you had to jump into the car and you had to go and do a deal, and you ended up in a car crash.
So is that how we explain deja vu? I mean, what comes from?
No, deja vu is the psychic phenomenon of having been somewhere before that we don't realize we've been there. Like,
yeah,
I've never, like, if I've ever been to Camelot when Camelot existed, except I know I was born in the late 1970s of the 20th century, so how could I have been there? But I've been there before without knowing it.
So anybody tell me.
Goes into past lives and mediums and other bullshit.
So anyone tell me, how do these other hypothetical or whatever theoretical universes affect me now, right now? How would they affect?
They don't.
No,
you're not getting it. They don't.
They're divergent. It's like, imagine a tree. Like the branches going off the tree, and then the different
precisely
stems that go
but
off.
Somewhere you do believe somewhere there is another me that's somewhere doing something else.
Good. Well,
yes, and it's happening to you right now.
Yeah.
All right, that's crazy for me to try to wrap my mind. I've been trying to think about these aliens in the sky and shit all day, which I don't think any of this stuff is real. I try.
Honestly, we have a better chance of the Flash becoming a real person, getting struck by chemicals and lightning, and building the goddamn cosmic treadmill and traveling between parallel Earths than we do getting fucking invaded by aliens anytime soon.
I disagree.
Exactly.
No,
you can disagree all you want.
No, wait a minute though.
Yeah.
Even freaking what the hell's his name? The guy, the paraplegic freaking rocket scientist.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking, yeah. He said don't send out signals because we don't know what their intentions are.
Have you even heard what you said about
you guys also know that we have so many satellites out there that they reflect shit back to us, that we could be also hearing our own messages sent back to us, and that they've been garbled and destroyed, by the signals being corroded from going out so far and then coming back.
There ain't no satellites.
You thought about that?
Ain't no satellites. What they do is they pull these. It's like if you've ever been on the beach, they got the planes, and it says like, Joe's Crab Shack behind the plane. There's planes up there flying, and they're banners that look like satellites in case you look up there with a telescope. But there's no outer space. There's gravy out there, and the Earth is flat.
Now I've always liked one of the possible explanations that Futurama did, which was really fucking hilarious. And it's a cartoon, but it's actually funny if you think about it. Where when we sent out television signals, in the old days, that there's probably an alien race out there that's now catching the season finale of Archie Bunker.
Just getting them, yeah.
Exactly. And the same thing for music. Anything from the 80s and 70s is just now getting out there because we sent it over the radio waves.
You got a whole bunch of aliens who are rocking out to the Doors.
Probably.
Yeah, if they got
And
here
that
right now, they'd be like,
that
what
would
happened?
surprise me. And if you really want to talk about aliens, well, that would give them a good reason to come to Earth and say, oh, where'd this signal originate? And they would find Earth and say, now, wait a minute. When we got this, they were playing this type of music. And now, of course, light speed, light years, whatever, later, they're in the age of, holy shit, the hell are these people listening to now? And referring to
what
modern,
happened to them?
exactly, referring to modern music to be like, wait a minute, why is it by the time we hear this, they're listening to something that they would consider good, being the 60s or 70s and 80s, and now they reach out and say, what the fuck are they listening to now? And how did these other guys get so goddamn old?
Mad Dog,
they would know that.
I've ever met in my life, dude. You're one of the most respectful, cool dudes I've ever known, and because of that, you hardly ever get to say a fucking word.
Oh, Matt's more than happy to jump in when he's got something to say, aren't you, Matt?
When it's my
chooses not to.
I'm just saying. Yes, you got to give it to him, Cabbage. You know it's true. He's so cool. Look,
he's cool. Yeah, no, I know he's cool.
I just said that and then cut him off while he was talking.
He's old school. And don't forget, he's got a lot of kids, so he understands how it is to work with kids.
Yeah, right. I do understand. No, Cabbage, fuck you. You got me off track. To say about the Greys, if they don't exist, Zero or Gade, why is there cave drawings of them in there?
Good question.
All over the world, multiple.
That was directed right at you, Zero.
You're talking the wrong person. I never said they didn't exist.
Well, you kind of did. He's asking you if just hypothetically, yes, you did. So you said it was bullshit. So if they're bullshit, why is there decay? You just answer the question. If you whatever, hypothetically, why are they?
I would know. I've never been to these caves and I've never seen the drawings. But
because I've also mentioned on the same vein that people from all over the world that have never met each other. In some cases, they never had contact with any kind of media. And they describe these abductions from these Greys in the same way. I mean, what's up with that?
No, it's very simple. If people had fuck all else to do, they were looking at the stars, right? They had no TV. They didn't have TiVo. They didn't have the internet. They were making stories about the star formations. These, stories got transferred, and it ends up as Chinese whispers, and different stories get converted into different things. So they become metaphors and, similes for different aspects of what goes on. Because you imagine, right, that they didn't know what a star was. That's why they came up with all this crap. Orion's belt. Why is it Orion's belt? Because they created a god that was meant to go around it. Because they saw that, they knew that. I mean, I'm sure that they appreciated that meteorites came down and things like that, but they had no fucking idea why or how any of this shit was happening. But they had to make up stories around it. And so when you've only got so many, analogies that you can utilize from your experience, then it's not unsurprising that people are going to come up with the same kind of
coincidence is what you're saying. It just.
I'm just saying that people with the same evidence are probably going to come to the same conclusions. Like the same ideas.
No, wait a minute. I will interrupt on this one. They're in different hemispheres. They have different star formations, but they came up with the same drawings. They came up with the same kind of myth about. I call it a myth because I'm agnostic or atheist, but the same flood myth. They came up with the same type of stories. That's more than a coincidence.
Because places get flooded. It doesn't matter where you are. You go to
but when it comes to the aliens, man, when it comes to the aliens, we're talking about big eyes, gray skin, big heads, skinny necks, the whole 9 yards. Let's keep it on that. And so we got different hemespheres.
Yeah, but that's not on cave painting. No, I mean you can claim that there's the ones like Carl. Who was it? Not Carl Sagan. The other one, the guy who was he wrote the books about the was it Chariots of the Gods or whatever?
Yeah, Donegan. I want to buy that book. I want to read that book, but
Chariots of the Gods.
Chariots of the Gods, right? So you go through that, and you've got his, you know, all of the stuff where he's basically, and it is interpretations, but it is people who are, again, that these are. I mean, we'll put it this way: do you honestly think on the, you know, the Sistine Chapel that Michelangelo actually saw God touching man?
No.
By the finger, right?
Yeah.
So it's a metaphor, right? So and you got to remember that these are people who are a lot less sophisticated than Michelangelo, and so, you know, they have ideas, they have stories, and so, like I said, you know, we grow up in a parallel, and plus stories get passed between different communities and they get slightly modified and changed and things. And that's the whole point of anthropology, right? You can see how these things are equivalent, but also how they vary. And in fact, if you look at the Aboriginals in Australia, they still live by these sort of things. You know, the countryside is a story. So they will have a picture of a snake, and the snake is actually relates to where you need to be at a particular place, you know, like a particular location, so that you can get food or water, because they, you know, migrating and things like that during the seasons and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and then the snake becomes a deity?
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, and so, you know, because that deity in that place at that particular time, because that's how you survive. Yeah, exactly. It tells you how to survive at that time of year. And then, you know, a particular mountain structure becomes something significant, like with, you know, Olympus, Mount Olympus, or, you know, with the Vikings and their gods. It's pretty much the same thing. And most of it is migrated. It's not like everyone spontaneously created themselves. I mean, you have to remember that people came from somewhere and they took their stories with them.
Well, yeah. So there's a new theory that says that the people that we thought had no connection to each other back a long time ago actually did. There was a lot more sailing going on. So do you think that would answer this question, that there was actually a communication between the European continent and the American, and, you know?
Absolutely. No, that's been proven, because they found cocoa beans, which are indigenous to South America. They found those in Egyptian tombs.
So that would solve this problem, right? It would be a shared culture, is your argument.
And don't forget that, you know, like the continental
it's also
shells
fair
have
enough,
been
it's
separated.
fair enough to say that they have the same. We also have the same issue in regards to mythological creatures, and I'm not taking anything away from the Greys or anything, but if you think about it, every culture,
Dragons.
every single culture, no, vampires. Every single culture has a form of vampire.
Well, because they're real. I mean,
they
I would.
All share this. They don't all share the same characteristics as. They don't share the same characteristics as Transylvanian vampires, which modern lore bases itself on, but they all have the same characteristic of specific blood-sucking, dietary needs, facial features, the fangs, so on and so forth. Which unto itself, lifespan, which all in a certain way goes back to the ancient Greek and or Roman gods, Medusa and Nocturne, and so on and so forth.
And I really like you, Zero, but just to add to that, really honestly, it goes back further. It goes back to Babylon, but more specifically, it goes back to Egypt.
Precisely.
Egypt.
And if you're looking at that, it's actually about cannibalism.
The scarab, we get the scarab beetle. But go ahead, Zero. I'm sorry, because that's so interesting.
No, but that's my point.
It's man's fascination. In fact, most of the things I bring up tonight are man's fascination with two things: something other than man that is intelligent, because we haven't found it here on this earth, and man's fascination with, I can't possibly end. There has to be something, I have to continue on from this. Those are two very powerful, I believe, fascinations.
That's where religion comes from.
I'm going to go on for about another 20 minutes, boys.
That's where religion comes from.
But isn't that why we have children?
I don't have any children.
No, I'm not talking about religion. No. Let me get where I'm going here, guys.
Yeah, go.
Let me get where I'm going here. Isn't that why we have children in a manner? Isn't that why we have biological children, adoptive children, relatives, children of friends of ours, where we know that we are limited beings in a certain amount, for a certain amount from what we understand, which is why we pass on our life knowledge, our wisdom, what we've done right, what we've done wrong, to help people avoid certain situations of stupidity that we've done ourselves. So therefore, we do live in a certain very small, minute way from what we understand, but we do live on through passing along things, whether it's on the genetic code level, i.e. children, offspring, or knowledge and wisdom in the mental sense. Because if you think about it, we still talk, and I'm going to revert back to, we still talk about Michelangelo, the painter. We still talk about the great artists of the Renaissance era. They've been dead for how many years, and yet they still technically live on. So in a way, hence they are, quote, unquote, immortal.
You know, that's the child argument's a very
book.
powerful one that we live on
Yeah,
to
so
that.
It's writing a book, or, you know, and that's what I'm saying is that, you know, these things do exist, but that doesn't mean that they have necessarily any. I mean, we can anthropomorphize anything, which is what people tend to do. It's the anthropomorphization of our own imagination.
Yeah. Damn right. I get a little frustrated with that too, because it seems like, oh Lord, man, this whole new, it's not new, but this whole revived social justice warrior thing, everything's anthropomorphized. Every movement is made the most human thing possible. And now, because in Detroit, there was this dog that a gang caught, and they cut its ears off, and they cut his tail off, and they skinned like part of him. He was pitiful, man. I've seen him. And I give 50 quid, and was like, they caught the people too, by the way. I give 50 quid to like catching the people and to helping the dog. And the dog was helped. He's got a family now. They cut his nose off. I'm not even kidding. They cut his bloody nose off. It was one of the most pitiful things I've ever seen. But because of that, because of one time, I seen this thing close to where I live and decided to help this animal that is just an animal. Man, oh Lord, I get these things from this, what's it called? act.org or something like that. And it's one right after the other of, won't you want to help Luke? Luke is a little bunny rabbit that got, you know, and all this. Wouldn't you want to help?
Adopt.
Well, or give money so that we can save this. And the way they anthropomorphize these things, Cabbage Patch, is sickening. Because let's face it, man, I don't want to sound cold-hearted, but should I have even helped that dog, as pitiful as it was? Isn't there problems in the world with human beings yet? I don't know what else to say.
Well, yeah, there's plenty of children who are being abused. I mean, look at Daddy of 5, right?
Oh, Lord, yeah. What a pig. I don't even know. The little red-haired kid, he reminded me of me. I had 7 brothers and sisters, though, you know. We didn't have like the video and stuff that we got nowadays, but the kid there, what's the fucking kid's name? The little red-haired kid with the glasses on.
Yeah.
I was the youngest. I lived that life of that. And all the idea that, oh, it's just fun and games. No, I hate my brothers and sisters.
It's just a joke, bro.
Yeah, right. No, it's not. You never forget that kind of shit. You grow up and you're like, why did you?
Sorry, Ogre, but why would you put that online? Like, what a fucking idiot. He deserved everything he got. Go ahead, Ogre. I'm sorry I cut you off on
No, you didn't cut me off. I'm just thinking, you're right. Not only did he deserve everything he got, but he blames that shit on Philly D, and it's like, fuck you, dude. And I'm going to say it one more time. That kid will, and the daughter, the slapping in the face will ring in my head for my life, because she's like, oh, you can't slap a girl, but oh, she's your sister. Wow, that girl ain't gonna forget that, and not because it hurt. It's because she was, done that way. And anyway, no, that was ridiculous, man. Yeah, so I guess I shouldn't have gave to that dog. I should have been thinking more about people like that. I heard they went back to their biological mom, but I guess the problem is in the old days she wasn't that great. I don't know if that was just media or what.
No, well, Bates Mama went through all of that. Basically what happened when the separation happened, the mother apparently has some learning disabilities, and she didn't really kind of get what was going on. That's the claim that's been made. Anyway.
Oh, I don't watch
So
this channel myself, but
well, no. This was from talking to her in Discord, and like on Hangouts.
Oh, yeah, I know Dr.
She was
I
working
could
on
probably found it from some source, but
she was working on the case at the time, and it was, she was participating in it.
they better watch out because if she touches them in the right place, she'll kill them. Is what she told me. She knows how to touch somebody. That ninja shit.
No, right, the fucking Spock thing.
Because she's a sex operative for the CIA.
All right. Okay.
She told me that shit on air, man. I mean, it's out there. You can find it.
Yeah.
And so getting back to aliens and weird ass shit, would we really want to be like Vandal Savage and live forever? Because you would think that would take a toll.
No, I wouldn't.
I don't. Can you imagine just going living?
I wouldn't either.
I mean, even going out into the stars. I mean, living in a metal, container, or I don't know, a hollowed out asteroid and just floating through space. I mean, what are going to be the sights? I mean, how many nebula do you need to see before you get bored of it?
I have a question.
I mean, there's nothing really to be got out of it.
I have a
question.
Do I, if I go up into space in that little capsule, one, how long will I be gone? And two, do I have to bring the children?
No. Well, again, think about it. Remember that, and I don't know. I don't think theory is the word. There is the hypothesis, because it has yet to be proven, but it's not technically a theory. There are quantum mechanics and physics that actually back this up. That the further that we get away from Earth, and even though we age how we age, so if we go out into space, we come back, I'd still be 42, but my family is now 6 generations farther away from where I started, that kind of thing. So
that has to do with speed of travel.
Yeah, exactly.
That's warp speed. That's warp speed. That's speed of light.
So by our standards, wouldn't that technically make me not immortal, but live longer, even though I'm not technically living longer?
Absolutely. Well, but you would just wouldn't. Yeah, your perspective wouldn't seem like it.
No, weirdly enough.
Somebody mentioned the guy that was in the space station for a year and come back and he was weak. Yes, and he was also like
younger,
0.01 second younger than he would have been.
But he was a fucking, he was basically a pus sack. He could barely stand up.
Well, I'm just saying that, yes. but technically, here's the thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, no, technically, the same thing happens if you go on a plane. Depends on, I can't remember which side it is, but if you go east to west or west to east, then you can gain time. I think it's if you're going from east to west, you can gain time just on a plane.
Just a tiny bit, but yes, you can.
Yeah.
So while I'm not agreeing or disagreeing on anything, knowing what we know about that shit, I would not be surprised if the Greys were actually humans, actually us evolved way into the future, and we're just kind of trying to see what the fuck happened and how we fucked up.
Very possible. That's what I think.
That wouldn't surprise me one damn bit.
I think something very.
Well, if that's the case, then why are they crashing all the time? Because they should know damn well about, aerodynamics.
Well,
that's very okay. Let me answer that with another question, and it plays into this. How is it for the longest time between civilizations we didn't know how to fucking build an aqueduct, and yet suddenly we do?
No, that happened in several levels. It was
exactly. That's my point. We advance so far in technology, we forget how to do the things that we need to do to survive.
Oh, right. So you're saying that these aliens, even though they can go light speed or whatever, or transdimensional or whatever, but they suddenly forgot what aerodynamics is and about things like wind resistance.
Yeah, would that not be so surprising if they're so dependent upon technology that they don't manually know how to fly? And that if they try to manually fly, that's why they fuck up and crash?
Yeah, well, maybe, that's the lowest bid contract thing.
Well, we're also currently facing this same kind of issue with automated cars. I don't want a fucking automated car, and if they become to the point where all I can buy is an automated car, I'll fucking walk my ass. Because I still want to know how to drive. I still want to have that capability and that skill set. Because, and not to be egotistical, and no disrespect to any of the aliens that will hear this in the future. Look, it's very simple. The human factor always has to be there. When you fly a plane, drive a boat, or steer a boat, drive a car, a submarine, whatever, technological advancements can only take you so far before fuck-ups happen. You have to have...
So you're saying that the crash at Roswell was basically an Uber fuck-up?
I wouldn't be surprised.
The TomTom. Who was the TomTom? It was like, you know, take a left of the... Just like some GPS fuck-up.
I would like to point out I made the same argument about 45 minutes ago and got called an idiot. So I just want to put that as
an idiot for what?
I don't think so.
Okay, maybe no one called me an idiot, but I'm pretty sure you and both Cabbage shouted me down on that same argument. I just made it differently.
I did?
I said that we evolved and we lost
the
mass and did that.
No, mate, because I was saying, it's like, how come that these people come across all of this fucking distance and then they end up fucking crashing? Because they don't, apparently, you know, they're so technologically advanced, they don't, you know, they don't test anything in an equivalent atmosphere or whatever. No, that was
shit, if I stepped on a landmine, I earned that one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if I stepped on a landmine, I deserved it.
You don't even need to do it yourself. You just need somebody else to do it.
I'm saying I agree with you. That's all. I'm just saying I think we made the same argument two different ways.
Oh, well then fuck me. I butterfingered that one, didn't I?
Ogre, you said you wanted to end it about this time. I know it's late over there, dude. You want to close down or what, buddy?
Such a time manager, aren't you, Mad Dodge?
Oh, I went on that other stream earlier too. So I mean, whenever Ogre wants to close down, I'm gonna relax. And
Ogre will close it down when he chooses to. Don't you worry, mate. He doesn't need any prompting.
Fuck off, Cabbage.
Thank you. Hey, don't forget, I'm injured. I'm injured.
I know, man. Are you putting frozen peas on that shit, dude?
Actually, no, weirdly, no. I didn't have any peas. I wish I did, because they mold much better around the limb. I'm actually using frozen florets of broccoli and cauliflower.
What happened to you?
Oh, I just fucking tripped up and I dropped on my. I dropped like a sack of shit onto my left knee.
Oh.
So it's all swollen and fucked up.
Oh, on your knee.
Mm.
Oh, it's bad. I mean, anyway.
Yeah, I think I might go down to the hospital and get an X-ray tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess you can just do that, huh?
I've done that. I have. I've fucking butterfingered myself. In fact, actually, that's kind of what happened with my dad after he got his stents put in. He was trying to get out of bed where because he didn't realize how close he was to the edge, so he was trying to roll over and then get up, end up face planting on the floor and whacking his left knee, which is why he had to go back to the hospital about a month back. There, Ogre. That's what happened.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing is, right?
I blame the alien person, right? Whatever.
Yeah, but I used to play rugby and shit, and you take these things, but it's clearly getting old. You know what I mean? The bones are getting calcified or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's a big fucking difference. Like, you don't bounce back the same way as you used to. I thought it would be okay by today, but
I hurt myself just doing shit that I would have done 10 years ago. That I mean, I'll be working and turn, turn a certain way. In fact, it wasn't but like about a couple months ago, I was sitting in this chair where I'm sitting now and sneezed. And shit, man, I could hardly walk for a day. It like pulled something in my back when I sneezed.
Well, I had a friend of mine who was he coughed too hard, and he ended up deflating one of his lungs.
I mean, bloody hell.
Well, I wish I could cough that hard to deflate my ass.
Shit, well, me too. I wish I could deflate my beer gut, but it's just the way it is. As we get older, it is definitely. It's like you said. I mean, it's something you just would bounce back from. It's a big deal. It's just the way it is.
Well, My back has been kind of screwed up this past month, so I avoided weightlifting and elliptical, and I've been swimming for the entire month, and I'm now up to 1.5 miles in under 50 minutes. For me, that's pretty good because of my leg. Swimming, which is pretty good. Well, no, a mile. Yeah, it took a month to build this up, and so today I started putting on ankle weights at 10 pounds each.
Swimming.
And it's while swimming, yeah. And I could tell you 10 years ago, had I done that, it'd been no big deal. But now it was like, Jesus, what the fuck was I thinking putting these 10-pound weights on each leg? Thinking that would make, to challenge
10
myself.
Pounds
yeah,
each
ankle weights. Ankle weights, yeah.
So 20 pounds. Yeah, I'd be in the fucking bottom of the ocean. I'd be in Davy Jones.
That was kind of
I'm not sure I could swim a mile.
That was kind of the thing there, Cabbage. About 4 years
ago.
I get 20 yards. 4 years ago, I broke my leg. So one of the things I now do is put ankle weights on, and I lift my legs in the water, which is like, oh, that's easy. Yeah, 10 years ago, it would be easy. But after I broke my leg, my whole system was out of whack, so now it actually helps build my legs up proper, and that's why I can swim better. But again, since I broke my leg, it took its toll on my hips, threw my back out of alignment, which was why I said I wasn't working out as regular, the normal style that I do with the elliptical and weights, and which is why I said it's time, being older, it's time to go swim for a month, and I've been fine with it. But that's, again, the curse of being human.
Well, you're quite fat, so maybe you're more buoyant, and that's why it's easier for you. No, I'm just teasing. That was bad. It was a bad joke. I'm actually quite fat too.
You've seen how much the sun bounces off your skull there, Ogre. I wouldn't be talking.
Touche. Well, you know what, boys? I'm gonna haul ass. We almost made it 2 hours, and I should have been asleep way before this.
I hear you.
I would say this. I've got one person getting close to 1,000 subs. When I get 1,000 subs, I'm going to do a 24-hour stream. I would like some folks to do some. Cabbage, I would like you to do a little bit of time if you want. Anyway, I will email the appropriate people, and if anyone would like to just get on, and I don't care what they do. No nudity, other than that. Look who's talking. Other than that, pretty much whatever you want to do. Because when I say 24-hour stream, it's not going to be me 24 hours. I will be sleeping some of those hours and fucking off some of those hours, and then hosting some of those hours. So maybe I can get some of you boys.
It's going to be
I definitely hope
Alex Jones Money Bomb.
Pardon me?
An Alex Jones Money Bomb.
No, but no money bomb. But the cool thing about but here's the cool thing is after 1,000 subs, I will be able to put in a super chat. That's the only thing that I personally will ever do. I won't put in a PayPal or anything, and then the super chat will go directly to my pal, the Britisher. I won't be keeping any of that. It's just to fund. Our operation. I guess I could say. I know I can say. Because as long as he's got funds to go on, he'll be part of the operation, and that makes me happy, man. Britt's he's turned out to be quite a British fella.
We are what we are.
Yeah, what I say. He has no emotions. He's not like you, Cabbage. You're a lot different. You really are. I know you're both very British. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to compare Britishness with you two, but you got emotions, and you get angry and you get happy. And he just don't do any of those things. He doesn't have. He has
no comment on. Yeah, well, that's the whole point. He's the distillation of Britishness, I guess.
Yeah, he's down. He really does. He's got it down. I know it. I'm not even kidding either. It's personal shit happen. He don't get none of that stuff. But anyway. So the super chat would be cool because, like I said, whatever we'll be doing. And Cav, I don't know if you know, we do church at Britishers now some Fridays when he's feels up to it, when he's not too nervous, which should be every Friday from now on.
Yeah, when he's not too nervous, he's doing live streams now.
Well, yeah, but on his channel, man, I'm telling you, man, he's very British because as he has no emotions, I guess if there's any emotion he does have, it's self-doubt. You see, so when we're on his channel, and look, I don't want to agree. I'm already in trouble. It's late. I shouldn't be saying these things about my friend. I really am going into too much depth. I really am. He's the kind of guy, just like all you.
I've managed to wind him up a couple of times on after hours.
Well, but you know how you British folks are, because you told me that you like bumped your knee. But I know enough about British people to know that tomorrow I shouldn't really be like, oh yeah, Cabbage Patch broke his knee and this and that, because you're not there. I don't know. It's a British thing. Y'all don't like other people talking about what's wrong.
No, exactly. Yeah. Reservation. That's what it's just reserved.
All right. Well, I'm gonna bow out.
Thank you so much, Zero, for being
About
here.
12 midnight here. I'm just going to say this. Thanks for having me back on. I'm sorry I've been gone for about a week and a half. Shit happens. Good to talk to you, Cabbage. Mad Dodge, thank you for showing up. And to everybody out there in regards to aliens and all that fun shit. I always say the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Simply because you don't have evidence that something does exist does not mean that you have the evidence of something that doesn't exist.
That's right, brother.
So basically, I
But
wouldn't
the
be surprised.
absence of evidence doesn't prove your point either.
Exactly. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Greys were actually humans from the future. And I mean, we've had more than enough science fiction to explain this kind of thing in various formats. So anything is possible. I just wouldn't be surprised if they forgot how to fucking drive. So this is Zero Cool, the bad news bearer of the Midwest, saying everybody have a great night.
Thank you, Zero. Thank you, brother. We managed to do somehow or another. Me and Zero managed to do our Sunday stream anyway. And boys, I don't know if y'all got any last words. Usually that's kind of like what I do, but it's such a weird and off kilter stream. I'm just gonna give you all a chance to say whatever it is that you want, and I'll wrap it up, and I'm gonna push the goodbye button. Anything else?
Yeah, I got fuck all, mate.
All right. Well, the truth is out there, and anybody that sees this and hasn't checked out my channel yet, it's Mad Dodge Productions. Come on over and check it out. If you like streams, that's what I've been doing a lot of. I'm trying to get some more original content out there. I'm working on a Rand Paul video, so hit subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hope you stick with the streams no matter what you do. For the amount of subs you have, you punch well above your weight. And the amount of people
Mad Dodge is quality.
Yeah. Well, and not only quality is definitely there, but what I mean by punch above his weight in numbers also. I mean, and I know there's no staggering numbers. Don't get me wrong. I'm not kissing anybody's ass. I'm going to tell the truth. But when you look at the amount of subs he has versus how many people watch his live streams, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's like if you do the same, the same percentage and go up to somebody with, like Jeff Holiday, I mean, I'm not even kidding. Mad Dodge sometimes has twice as many percentage-wise. And that's all that any of us can do. And I think it is because of the quality streams. I watch you're on there a lot. I see MCJK is on there quite a lot. I mean, I watch those streams. They're late for me. So what I end up doing is when I'm getting ready for bed, Cabbage, I'm laying on the couch. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that because I got to wrap it up. So I'm going to wrap it up this way. Yes, check out Mad Dodge Production. While you're there, notice that one of his most recent videos is an interview that was done there. Who was that, Mad Dodge? Tell me again. I'm so bad with names.
The Piper Report.
Yeah, thank you. Piper Report. Very well done. Very good. Mad Dodge always is just really good radio is all I can say. So check it out, the interview with the Piper
Report. I did a good one as well with tonight with Irish dude. The Irish
Voice
guy. Yeah, The Voice. Yes.
Yeah. So check us out tomorrow. We'll have in church. We're gonna have Weebo Jones will be joining us again as our token chick, our token human with boobies, and we're gonna have. And I think Amanda Wolfchild will be swinging by too, but we'll be having. Oh Lord, have mercy on my sinning soul. Because I should just leave now. Now's when I should be pushing the button and just leaving the fuck out of here. Oh, look, I just got a message from Razorfist, too, as I'm looking and trying to see. We will actually be having a guest tomorrow.
Jesus. Could you make it any more fucking vacuous?
Wizard of Cause. Sorry.
Oh, no, he's cool. I like Wizard.
I just spit that out. And so it looks like, in fact, look, the cool thing is Wizard of Cause should be swinging by, but I'm just looking now. Razor Fist sent me a confirmation saying tomorrow at 3 works fine. So we will have Razor Fist on tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 11 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, and that would be 3 o'clock out on the left coast. Join us, man. We're going to have Weebo Jones, like I said. We'll have Wizard of Cause. Who knows who will show up? Maybe I'll even get fucking Cabbage Patch to show up. If I do, won't that be a fucking party then? So remember, be good to your friends, be good to your family members, be good to your loved ones. Hey, look out for them gray aliens. Be quick to say you're sorry. Be even quicker to accept an apology, especially when that thing your friend, your family member, your loved one has done seem to be so huge you'll never be able to forget about it. Watch out for big cities in the sky. Because guess what? At a time you think not, your friends, your family members, your loved ones, your life, and all the crazy bullshit you can think of to talk about will depart from you.